Hello, everybody. My name is Fraser Waldron. I hope you're doing well today. I wanted to share something with you guys that I've been using that's been really effective for me, and I want to give it to you to see if it works and get your feedback on. Essentially, it's called my 4G framework, 4 goods framework. And essentially, it's a process, a mental model, a mental framework that you can employ to increase your performance on a day-to-day basis. It's not a life philosophy per se. It's a short-term strategy to create the ideal mindset for performance in any scenario you're in. I've been using it for the last few months. It's been super effective for me. So I wanted to share with you guys because I think it's useful and get your feedback as well because I'm always looking to improve. So first note, I am in Bali right now, so I'm sweating a lot. That's not because I'm nervous, so just because it's super hot. And I apologize. I'm just in an area with some construction. So if there's loud noises, I apologize in advance. So moving forward, what is the 4G framework? Essentially, it's a 4-step process where I have 4 goods, and I'll go through them one by one, of course. And in that process, I inhabit a delusional mindset to increase my performance. And so where did I get this idea from? What I realized was that in some circumstances in my past, I've actually had this model already. I just hadn't operationalized it into a model that you could actually digest cognitively. So, for example, when I played American football in university and in high school, which is my favorite sport, that sport is quite violent and aggressive. And I am naturally quite sweet and innocent. And so when I went onto the field initially, I found myself getting thrown around and picked up and put down not nicely. I had the wrong mindset. I was like, let's be friends. Let's not be aggressive towards each other. But I like the sport. So very quickly, I realized I had to develop a mindset that would allow me to better perform. So in this context, I had a flip the switch cue where when I walked on the field, I would flip the switch and essentially become an ideal football mindset, which in my case was sort of quiet, intense, really aggressive. I wanted to, smash into people and I became a wrecking ball on the field. And this helped me advance quite far into the sport. And when I did use that mindset, essentially the delusional mindset, my performance increased. And when I did not have good performance. So essentially I took this model and just applied it to everything else because I had this epiphany. I kept meeting, I do some venture capitalist work. I kept meeting people who were like switched on entrepreneurs that had this sort of delusional mindset. Of course we can build this company. Of course we could build these data centers in the desert. Of course we could do these, like massive projects that I would never do. And I realized the difference between me and these other people who were really high performers was just a mindset. Maybe on the football field, they wouldn't have the mindset as I did. And then maybe I would outperform and vice versa. So I thought, why can't I take this mental model and just extrapolate it across all these different domains of just life in general? So I started to write stuff down and I created my 4G framework. That's secular. You don't have to be, you can be Christian, you can be Muslim, you could be an atheist, you could be Buddhist. It doesn't really matter. It's secularized and you can customize it to yourself. But the overall framework, I think, is useful. So essentially, it's irrational, rational confidence, which is to say that the model is irrational. I can't defend it philosophically, but I can defend it in the sense that it increases performance, at least for me. So I'm hoping it increases performance for you too, and try it out. So I think it'll make your world better. Okay, so first one is, and sometimes I'll use religious language here, but if I say God, it could be just the good, okay? So it can be, you can interchange the words to suit your philosophical, theological current situation. So the first one is that the world is good, or God is good, or the world is in your favor, something along those lines. But I like to say the world is good. God is good. God made the world good. And in this context, this is like a metaphysical claim, okay? So this is like I'm saying delusionally, I don't necessarily believe this per se, but I'm going to believe this on faith in the moment, which is that the world is in my favor. So whatever my goals are, my objectives, the world is operational, it's intelligible, I understand it. And if I move towards a goal, the world is going to not resist me moving towards that. And this creates a framework where when I look at problems or I look at situations, the questions I ask, the quests I go on are going to be framed in this positive lens. And you can frame it even as like God made the world good. I like the Christian narrative on this context because when the world is good, it's in your favor. And in the Christian Bible, for example, in Genesis, God makes the world good. He explicitly states that. So if you embody that on faith, which is, again, I don't have evidence of this, it's probabilistic. The world could be good, might not be. But I'm going to just take that on faith, okay? So that's the first one. And then the second one bleeds into it. If the world is good, that means I'm good because I'm part of the world intuitively. So the first one is the world is good. The second one is you are good, or in this case, I am good. And it's not just my mom saying that. Now I believe it internally because I have lots of narratives that are self-destructive. If I go into the football field without this mindset, I go, ooh, well, maybe I might lose. No, the world is good. And then that means I'm good. I can win. It's embodied in me. And even in the Christian context, you could say when God makes the world good over the few days, at the end, when he makes humans, he makes the world very good. Now, whether that's true or not is immaterial. We want performance in the short term. This is the model. So when I think that I'm very good in a metaphysical sense and that the world is in my favor, this gives me sort of a confidence. And sometimes you see it in sports, right? Like, especially like in America, the NFL player like wins the Super Bowl. He goes, yeah, God did it. Like, it's so amazing. And I was always like, well, I don't really know if God cares about football. But hey, but you know what? In that context, who's going to perform better? Me, who's like, well, I might lose, or that person who's been like, it's already done. I'm good. The world's good. And like God's already given it to me. If we're both competing with the same level of skill, it's most likely that that person is going to win. So, or has an edge, let's say. So those are my first two things. The world is good. Because the world is good, I'm good. Okay. And then the second one, or third one rather, is now that we have that metaphysical frame, how do we operate in the world? Like, where's our guiding light? What calls us higher? And that's a sentence. It says to be good in nature, or to be good. The to be is recognition that we're going to be in the moment. That's the only moment we're in. We're not in the future, because where's the future? We've only got the moment. We're not in the past, because that's in your mind. It's a narrative that's generated, maybe not even real the way you perceive it. So we're going to be in the moment. We're not in the future in anxiety. We're not in the past with regret. We're sitting dead square in the moment. And this is going to be really useful for us because now we're focused. The world is good. I'm good. And I'm right here. I'm at 100% focus in what's right in front of me. The job interview, the hard tasks, like, working with your kids, whatever the case may be. And then the second piece is to be good in nature, or just to be good. So the goodness there, in my definition, and you can customize this to fit your philosophical or theological view. To be good is like, that would mean to me, from a sort of Stoic, I'm more of a Roman era Stoic, if I have to admit it, is that to be good is to be good for others, or to be for the community, to do what I know I need to do for others. It's the highest calling. It's the image I see in my mind. And so in the case of, let's say, sports, it's like to be the best team we can be, to win the championship, whatever it calls you to higher, that's going to be my operational model in the moment when I want performance. So why am I doing this? I'm doing this because it moves me forward to a better place. So I'm in a car, I'm driving, the roads, the weather's bad. I need to get home because I'm doing it for others. I got to get home to be safe so I can be more productive the next day. So I'm going to, implement this strategy to perform better in that tough situation. I'm at the job interview. And why do I want this job? It's to be for others. Okay, that gives me a reason to be here, right? It gives a sense of meaning towards that. And I can't have regrets when I'm doing what I think is the most valuable thing I can do, right? How can you regret your highest decision, even if the outcome is not what you want, right? So, and we're going to increase our chance of a good outcome with this model. So those are the first three. To be good, the world is good, rather. That's the first one. That you're good within the world, and that your goal in the environment locally, whatever your task is to be good for others, or to be good in nature, to be good, to be for God, let's say. What God demands, you could frame it religiously as well. What God calls you to do, the highest voice. The fourth one, which I think is just as important as the rest, is we reframe everything to be good. So when something happens to me, good or bad, how I perceive it, like my house burns down, I'm like, oh, this is so terrible. That's not a good thing. I will cue the word good in my mind. Like, make this good. It is good. Reframe. Because again, what makes it good or bad? Maybe there's an objective reality out there that's good and bad. Maybe it's just subjective. But either way, for performance, I'm going to reframe things to be good. So when I'm coaching American football, for example, if the other team scores, let's say we're down 30-0, like that's a bad score. Like, we're going to probably lose probabilistically. I will look at the players and I will literally say, it's good. And they'll say, yeah, it's good. And what I'm asking, it's actually not good. We're behind. But what I'm actually saying is, let's reframe this to be meaningful. That's the key. It's meaningful. And they go, cool. And I'll say, what's the new goal? Like how are we going to reframe this? And they'll say, we're going to come back 31 points. We're going to come back 40 points. Or if that individual player loses, like, he has an event where it's not advantageous, I say, good. It's good. And they go, yeah, it's good, because I'm going to come back and compete the next play, even if it's delusional. So this is a completely delusional framework, by the way. I can't prove it that it's useful in the sense metaphysically, but I can say that it's useful for performance in the short term, 100%. So those are the 4 Gs. The world is good. You're good within it. You're supposed to be good. That's, call to action. And that anything that happens to you can be good, as in it's meaningful. If someone dies of cancer or something terrible happens, this might not be the framework to do that, because again, it's performance in the world. Metaphysically, you might have a different philosophical framework. But if you want to action, let's say like someone passes away, unfortunately, in your family, you're at the funeral. Can the funeral be good? Can you reframe that to be meaningful, right? Can you be the good person at your parents' funeral? That's an example where you could use this framework as you walk in. You say, you know what? The world's good. I'm good. I have this confidence because maybe this is a tough situation for me. I'm going to be for others because I'm going to be good. I'm going to do it. I'm going to be the good person at the funeral. And then at the end, it's like, how can this be good? How can I reframe this to be meaningful? Maybe it brings the family together. Maybe I'm the person that is needed in the day to make things better. And I think you can take that in almost any scenario. And I'll give you a real relaxed example. I had a job interview a while back, and I just created this framework, and I was kind of nervous because interviews are nervous or whatever. And it was with people that I knew. So it was like kind of peers, so it's extra stressful for me. And when I was waiting for the call I was maybe 5 minutes early for this online call. And I was sitting there and I was like, my heart was going and I was sweating just like I am right now in the Bali heat here. And I thought, no, I'm going to try this 4G framework. I just kind of created it. And at that point, I was calling it my irrational, rational confidence mode. I had this little cue in my mind. And so I said, okay, 4G, let's go through it. I said, the world is good. It's possible for me to get this job. The world wants me to have what I need, right? So that puts me in a good positive framework. And I said, well, I'm good. Everything I touch, it's already mine, right? Like God made the world good and it made me good too. I'm innately created in that essence. Doesn't have to be true. Again, it's a delusional feeling, but I felt strong with that, right? It felt good. You can customize it to yourself, of course. And then the third one, I was like, what's the right thing to do in this scenario? To be for others. I'm going to get this job and I'm going to make the world a better place. Cool. Now I'm locked in. And then the third piece was like, if it goes bad, because again, nothing had happened yet, but if it goes bad, what's the worst case scenario? I'm going to reframe this and I'm going to turn this into a win. You can feel it, right? And so all of a sudden I was like, bam, I feel like I'm solid. Before I felt fractured. And then I just felt like, I'm rock solid. I'm in alignment with the highest calling, the highest thing I can think of. And I'm feeling good. And I have essentially unlimited confidence. And I went into that interview and it was pretty good. I actually didn't get that job, but the actual interview was great. Like my performance was perfect. And in other contexts, I've used this when I'm playing sports, when I go to the gym. I can just cue this now. I have a cue. I just go 4G or I go, I'll flip the switch. I've taken my football one and kind of turned it into to start the mode. It's a process. And every single time I feel much better. I just feel better and I think I'm performing better. So no regrets. I would love to get your guys' feedback on this. If you steal it, try it out, and let me know if it actually is useful. Because for me, it's been super useful. And I have deployed this on my football kids in some form or strategy for like the last 15 years. And I do think I see performance increases by people who take this framework, although it's football specific at the time. Now I've just bled that into the wider context. And I do see performance increase and faster coming back to baseline especially when something negative happens, to come back strong. I see that all the time. The kids who use that framework have success, and the kids who don't, they get emotionally rolled by the situation and they're in emotional turmoil for longer. So that's it. I want to leave it there. I don't want to go too long. Hope you're having a great day. I hope that's useful, and I'll catch you on the next video.